Welcome back, SugarFatman fans. It's been a while, but we made it through surgery, we made it through COVID, and all the different things that hit. And I just want to say a big thank you to all those who prayed for my family, who have donated to help us with all this missed time, and who have just been there asking how we're doing. It means a lot to me and my family. I'll cover more of everything that went down at the end of this video for those that are interested, but we're back. Excuse the voice, it's still not 100%, but let's talk about what you need to do to get ready for G5 in today's game, SugarFatman. Let's go.
Fancy intro music, yeah! Woohoo!
So there are over 67,000 players in G4 right now prepping for G5, and many of you have the goal of something like this, a maxed out Enterprise D. Well, how do you get there? We're gonna go through the process of getting you into that path, getting you into G5 and feeling confident. And just like the previous times we've done this, we've made a list. Now this was helped put together by myself, Sudo, and SugarFatman, two of the stronger players in the game who are also very well-known nerds. So if you're curious about how some of this works, well, we're gonna have all this here. Now, for those who haven't seen this list before, this actually is something in the comment section that you can pick up for yourself. And each one of these items, or at least most of the items, will actually have a video tied to them if you are wanting more in-depth details. So for example, if you want to know how the ISS Jelly Loop works, you would simply hover over that item in the list and it'll give you the video so you can go check it out for yourself. If you're curious about Lorca or completing the masteries, videos included to help you be better are there as well. But the primary thing that I want to do with this is tell you what you should work on, as in definitely do, nice to haves, and stretch goals, and then finally big things to ask yourself to prepare for G5. Now, for those who haven't ever checked it out, the ISS Jelly Loop is something I talk about a lot, which is going to allow you to scrap in the early G4 area, and then that's going to help you max out your G4 Epic. In this case, that'd be the Enterprise A, which down the road will give you a maxed out Enterprise D. Hence why it's so popular amongst a lot of our players to work on that. And it's something that I would encourage you to work towards if you are a free-to-play player. Now, if you're not free-to-play and you spend here and there, you don't necessarily have to work on this loop, as it will take time. You do need to acquire the blueprints via the Armada chest, the event that happens every month, if it happens on your server, that is, and of course, getting them through your territory as well. Still, not necessarily a requirement, but strong recommendation, and I would, if you're free-to-play, recommend going this route, because it's going to allow you to have better ships, which is going to allow you to do more things. And not to get stuck on that, it is quite important. But equally as important is also doing research. And part of the research that I really want you to focus on is the star path research, if you haven't been doing that already. In the background, you're going to see me moving over to that screen, and we'll take this off here in a second. But the star path has a lot of things that are valuable. But here you see I focus on ISO and the shield regen for morale, which you can find right here. That's the shield regen, and then we have the ISOs. Also want to point out that the mitigation and the crit damage reduction can be very, very valuable as well. So eventually you want to get all of these as high as you can take them, but ISO first, then shield, and then the crit damage reduction. These are very, very good. After all those researches, we really want to focus on our artifact gallery. Again, this is another one for me, a must-have, as in you really want to do this to make sure that you are where you need to be as a player. And for those that don't know, there's actually operations locks, where if you're not upgrading things like your ACC, your artifact gallery, you will eventually get stopped from upgrading your operations level. Now, your ACC is one to worry about more here in terms of going into G5, so make sure that you're getting that upgraded as well. But Artifact Gallery is still one of the most important buildings in the game because of artifacts, and they simply are getting more and more added to them, including the mastery artifacts, even things like this right here, which are going to save you on skill points for your fleet commanders. This is very valuable. You're going to want to do that. An easy one at this point. Now, I know, dangerous for Rev to say anything's easy in STFC, but back on the screen, 1 billion faction rep lock. Again, I would recommend this before going into G5, and thanks to the Mirror Universe, you can do this with all 3 factions in one grind. Very usable. Also want to throw in a bonus here for those that forget. If you want to boost your rep, you can use the DTI faction as well. Going into this handy-dandy chest right here, the Encrypted Exchange. This will allow you, as you progress it, to get rep for all 3 if you've progressed through it, but if nothing else, can speed up one at a time, depending on which one you've gone after. Getting that rep lock is big. Also want to point to your solo waves, which technically is related to the DTI, hence us mentioning it now, but you want to get those solo waves completable. I would recommend being a player who can beat the G4 Elite by the time you're going into G5. Now, if you need to be level 53 to do it, that's fine, but would really recommend if you're trying to be as strong as possible to do that before you're going into G5. And we've done videos on how to do it, including in here is a video of a level 46 doing it. So if you don't think you can do it, I believe in you. You can do it. And you can see we've also got it over here as well with that video. Now, the USS Revenant, there's a couple ways to play the Revenant as well as the Relativity. Relativity will be one of your strongest ships in G4 for you current G4 players. But the Revenant, you can either wait to scrap it in G5 or you can scrap it early, getting all of that loot, all those G5 materials as early as, level 48, 49, 50, which you can then use to get researches, or you can even use it to upgrade your NSEA to tier 10, which we actually have down here at the bottom in the nice to have area. Not required, but personally, I'm a fan of scrapping the Revenant in G4 to get G5 materials. It'll give you 10 days. For those that don't remember that poll, we'll provide that here on the screen. Yay, who doesn't love more stuff? More is more. I'm a big fan of more. If you haven't heard me say it, well, I'm not sure what channel you've been watching, but I say it all the time here on the channel. Yep. 10 days. A couple other things I would recommend, in my personal opinion, you should have done by the time you're going into G5 is one, I would really recommend you get your Augment Reputation to 60 million, allow you to get it Fleet Commander Khan free to play, Wrath of Khan Joachim 100% free to play maxed out, as well as things like your Dry Dock G, your Glavin, your Quantum Slipstream, all these being very, very valuable in today's game. And again, if we're talking about you, one of the 67,000 people in G4 prepping for G5, again, these are things that I would say are must-haves here at the top of the list. Glavin, again, is going to give you 60% ISO damage once maxed out. That is very, very relevant in today's game still, even with ISO now been out for a little bit. Fleet Commander Lorca and Sloan have OPSOC skills, but again, these are all benefited by having things like your Vindicator, which hopefully you've already been working on, and then the 60 million augment rep just provides so much in a newer faction that just has a ton of value. And really wanted to hit on that one, man. This augment faction could be a grind to get there, but absolutely worth it with all the different bonuses you can get, especially if you're free to play. Get that extra dock. Get that free Fleet Commander, and more importantly, get maybe the best below deck officer in the game right now, Wrath of Khan Joachim. All can be done free to play via the mission system that operates here in the Augment faction. Now we're getting into the yellow and the orange part of this list, which is more of recommendations. You don't need to do this, but something to think about. For example, a second or third G4 Epic, Tribune, or Hegtot. Now, I'm not saying you should max these all out at 50. I do believe you should get at least one level 50 Epic because, again, that's down the road scrapping for a free Max Rotaran, free Enterprise D, free to Dare decks. And people ask me all the time, Rev, how many of those epics do you need? Well, if you're doing your research correctly, as in all your efficiency researches, one. So that actually brings us some of the other parts of this list. For example, you want to have your X-Borg efficiencies maxed out, which you can get free to play via the Alliance Tournament store. Simply go into your X-Borg and you're going to see these ship part ones right here. Getting the G4 one and then obviously the G5 one are very handy. Don't forget the free Dolomites you want to pick so that you can go over into this tree right here. Wrong tree. Go into your station tree and you have your ship engineering, bam, and your ship parts. Again, maxing both of these out will drastically improve your ability to scrap for profitability, and which is going to turn into free epic ships down the road. And if you have those percentages, again, all these videos are included here, you're going to find a lot of good. Now, there are other things in here that also make things better. So if we take this down real quick and hop on over to our factions, don't forget we have those innovative engineerings in the Terran Empire. Drawback to the Terran Empire is it does require you to do PvP arenas, which I know not everybody is into, but those innovative engineerings can lower the cost of the ship blueprints themselves, making it easier to acquire these ships, cheaper to acquire, and just overall making things better. Now on the list, we have a few other things like unlocking the Veteran Cascade, which again, something that players should have done back in G4, even G3, but very doable. Getting the Godsend unlock can be very valuable in the event stores that we've seen, and then getting your GS31 unlocked for your G5 solo waves and your elite waves. If you're one of those players that is struggling with that 45 I just mentioned, that can help you out. Certainly, last but not least, we have max rare Voyager officers. I really recommend. We got a video on how to do that. There are a couple different ways to source that. I also recommend the same thing for the DS9 officers, just getting you multiple PvE and Armada officer groups ready to go. Getting your tier 10 NSEA is optional, but you can use your scrapped revenant to do that. Dry dock G, which we mentioned, and then obviously maxing out a G4 mining ship, mostly for the warp range. Now, those are the big hitting items, right? There are other things you can do, and you could even say, hey, Rev, I don't think necessarily everything on this list is worth it, so I'm going to cut some of the stuff off. And that is also completely fair. Also, I want you to think ahead. Are you ready for the higher silent hostiles? Remember, we're always thinking, can we hit the next level of hostiles? Am I ready for the Transigen and Suliban loop? Am I able to go deeper in that? Can you defeat the 45 waves? Have I progressed on my ISO artifacts? Do I have my ISO attack in terms of G4 at least at 75% and ISO defense at least at 100%? Am I ready for a Nova? Do I have the credits for it? Fleet Commander Lorca, Masteries, Mirror Space, and more. All these things very valuable. All these things matter. And hopefully gives you a checklist that you can do so that you can go in a G5 and not only get there, but be strong and ready to handle whatever Scopely throws at you. Whew. All right, so for those on YouTube who weren't aware, I got the great COVID in the throat, and that new variant called Razor Throat certainly lives up to the name. And what ended up happening is I had an abscess, 2 centimeter by 2 centimeter pocket developed in my throat that was obscuring my airway, and I was unable to breathe very well. And then obviously it was full of pus and bacteria and nastiness, having to have surgery on that. So what's ended up happening is I've spent about 2 weeks either sick with 104-degree fever, 103.5, or having to have surgery, and I was in the hospital for several days. That's why you didn't see me. That's where I've been. So again, a big thank you to all those who've prayed for me and my recovery, all those who've donated to support me and my family. And if you would like to do that, the best way to do that is on our website, revdeuce.com, or hitting up any of the links in the description below. And while I'm not owed anything from any of you, I do greatly appreciate those who care enough to help during this tough time, and sincerely thank you to everybody who sent well wishes, messages, texts, calls, whatever, and everything. Means a lot that you care so much about me and my family. Really does, and I cannot say thank you enough. That is the brief synopsis. We got more information on my Discord if you're truly interested in all the grossness and you want to see Rev looking absolutely beautiful in a hospital gown, because that's the thing. But again, thank you, and I hope to see you more and more as I continue to heal. Still got stitches in my throat, so as you can probably hear, not the best speaking, but hopefully this video is okay. Live long and plunder. Stay safe with our Space Cowboys. Deuces, that's me. Catch you on the next Star Trek Flick Man video. And again, thank you so much.
An even better outro than the intro. For the Empire and glory to your house.